Hello and welcome to the Independent Dealer Podcast, brought to you by Buckeye Risk Services. Luke, how is your August going so far?
Consulting wise, good. Dealership wise, not so good. And service, pretty good.
Oh yeah, well that sounds like great. I'm for
Yeah.
me, it's I don't know what happens in our little neck of the woods, but it has been busy, like gangbusters busy, right? Like
Yeah.
chickens with our heads cut off, running around the last probably 2 weeks. So I don't know what's in the water out here, but obviously the EV tax credit expiring, so that's been a real push. A lot of phone calls on the few Teslas I can still get my hands on. But a lot of our other cars have been moving too, some of the high-end stuff. So it's been mixed, but for me, obviously Recon is still the hang up. Getting cars through, getting them quickly, just making sure my shop, I'm trying to teach them to outsource to a bunch of different shops because we can't handle getting things done and handling customer cars at the same time. So yeah, it's been a real mixed bag here for us.
Well, walk us through this EV tax credit ending thing because not everybody's into it, Jeff, like you are. And um, talk to us maybe about how that it ends on a certain date. Well, what's going to happen to all the Teslas you have prior to that? Like, when do you stop buying? Tell me what you got going on here.
I don't know the answer to when I stopped buying. I thought I was going to stop buying a while ago, and I don't carry that many. So in context, I'm not a huge sample size. We'll carry 5 to 6 at any one time, only Model 3s, Model Ys, and they have to be under 25 grand purchase price to the customer. So that includes doc fee, 25 grand's the cap. The only thing that can go above and beyond that is taxes. So it's a tough thing to fit, right? Because right now, all the dealers are so desperate, everyone's bidding these things up to 24 grand, and then you pay fees and transport.
Gosh, somebody.
You're making $1.50 on them. I don't understand that.
That sounds like brain damage.
Yeah, it actually is on some of them. And what happens in those situations is we just say, look, man, I'm into this 25 grand. If I have to sell it to you for 25 grand, I've got to have a trade in.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
And so we've been a little picky on those, which is a really, really delicate issue. I mean, you got someone that comes in and wants to buy the Tesla because it's a steal of a deal. They don't have a trade in. You basically have to ghost them. And that is really an awkward conversation or interaction to have.
Yeah. I mean, do you say, I tell you what, I'll sell it to you, but you got to bring me a bag of cash for $2,000? I mean, is that what
Well,
you do?
that's technically also illegal to say, I'll
Oh,
sell it to you for
okay.
25 grand, but come in tomorrow and buy this charger for 3 grand. Right. That is very sketchy and
Are people
once you
actually
get
doing that?
audited. I think some here in my area are. I think all over it's happening, and there's documented cases here in town,
They should
well,
lock
in my
those
state.
people up. They should lock
I
them up.
think I think it'll be tax fraud. Yeah, I think some people, if they ever audit their deals and see that they were selling a car below their cost and then making the customer come in the next day and give them a bag of cash, that's
I
straight up
can
avoiding.
I can understand the trade-in situation.
Yeah.
And
Because
say,
all the time we sell cars. I'll break
yeah,
even on
yeah.
a car if I'm getting a good trade.
And if I'm ripping the trade, right? Um, you know, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you more for your trade,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's a real delicate area too. Because yeah, you kind of have to let them know, like, look, man, I'm making zero selling you this car. I've got to make money on your trade-in. Hope you're cool with that. Because net, you're in the same spot, Mr. Customer.
Yeah,
Except
yeah,
for
yeah.
now you get a $4,000 EV credit. So the rule is you have to take delivery by September 30th. So it's going to be full speed between now and then.
It's so
Obviously, if you're not in the
you're still buying.
program,
You're still buying.
yeah, because we're turning fast enough. Now, here's what's going to happen, my opinion, after September 30th. All Teslas are gravitating to that 25,000 number, right? Right
Mm-hmm.
now, if you get online and you look, you can buy a 2021 with 80,000 miles for 24 grand. You can also buy a 2023 with 80,000 miles for 24 grand. So everything's been pulled down to that number. And all the
Uh-huh.
cheap 2018 Model
Or
3s have been pushed up to 20 or 21 grand. So I
there's a
think that,
big difference between the 18 and the 23, by the way.
oh, yeah, huge. And so I think everything's kind of been compressed to the 25 number. So when that's gone and the motivator's not there, obviously your cheap stuff's going to get cheaper, right? Because everyone knows it's propped up by 4 grand. The
Do you
wholesalers know that.
do you think there's
Everybody
going to
knows.
be some good buy here, pay here, or lease here, pay here cars, Model 3s or Model Ys after this? Because it
Oh yeah.
sounds like there might be.
And that's my philosophy. I really think that because so much demand is being pulled forward right now to that date, that if you wait till October and then all the inventory starts building up, and then by the end of October, November, all the wholesalers get real desperate, I think you're going to see a huge drop in those cheaper Teslas. And now you're getting a 2018, 2019 with 80,000 miles for like 12 grand or
I was just saying,
15.
are we talking 10, 12 grand?
I think so. I don't
Wow.
know. The Model 3 is such a commodity car that
Mhm.
I think the used ones are going to become insanely cheap. And of course, the liability on the batteries scares people. So if you think you might have to put in a $6,000 or $8,000 battery in the next year or two, you kind of price those in just like we do with, I mean, look at the Ford Fiestas, right? Or the Focuses or the GMC Acadia. Like you're buying these cars just factoring in that you're going to need to do these repairs right off the bat or within
Yeah.
12 months. So,
Yeah. What is the, I know we kind of went off our normal topic, our original topic. What's Recon like? And because we're going to lead into our first question.
oh, yeah, good point.
What is
Absolutely not.
Recon? Yeah, that's what I was like. And it's got to be you buy them at the auction, you bring them home, you wash them, you vacuum them, and are they ready to go? Charge the battery.
For the most part, I take it for a drive. I don't send them through my normal 50-point inspection, right? Because typically my A mechanic takes all my cars, does the 50-point inspection,
What if it
makes
needs
the
belts and
list.
hoses?
What's that?
What if it needs belts and hoses? You don't change the oil?
There are no belts.
Okay.
And very
Just
rarely. So here's what you have. There's 2 to 3 things. Tires, you're always going to do tires.
yep.
Uh, you might have to do some curb rash. Every single one of them has curb rash.
Hey, ask
And
my
then
wife how I know.
yeah, yeah. Then there's a handful of defects in like the tail lights that get moisture in them. The steering wheels get rubbed off. I become a master steering wheel swapper. I mean, I can do it in like
Yeah.
5 minutes now.
You're a master or something.
That's about all I mastered. Um, Cabin air filters. And here's one thing that a lot of people are overlooking is
The
the
cabin air
radiator.
filter.
They're not cleaning the radiators. Every
Huh.
single Tesla we've got in over the last 3 months, we've opened up and cleaned the radiator, and they are atrocious. Like full on rat's nests. The way that the radiator is manufactured in a Tesla is it's on a backward slant because they can't stand it straight up.
Yeah.
So it's on a backward slant, and it actually has a plastic cover that catches the air and forces the air up and then down on like a downward slant. So what does that create? A little nesting area, a little platform for every single debris, stick, dirt, dust to just settle right on the radiator and then get
Yeah.
sucked into the fins. It's the worst design in the world.
Well, I'll have to check that on my wife's car. But the
Theirs is too.
okay, the freaking cabin air filters, if you don't change them on Teslas, everybody, there's this smell that comes out
Yeah.
when you turn the AC on that will run you out of the car. It is, yeah.
And
Anyway,
sometimes that's just the evaporator, the exchanger
well,
coils.
that's you
Got to
have to
clean
clean
those
those. Yeah, I got to
too.
clean those too. Yep.
So,
Anyway,
anyways, there's a handful of maintenance issues, but not a ton. The recon's pretty low, and thank goodness because the margins are so slim on some of the Model Ys. I mean, I've told people like I've got one out here, man. I can't put tires on it. Like you got to buy it as is, and you're gonna need to put tires on it tomorrow. But I can't do it for you because I would make no money because tires are expensive on these things too,
well,
man.
then you sell them tires at that point.
Yeah, yeah, well, within reason. I don't want it to look sketchy, so I tell them to go
That's true.
elsewhere. Like, I'm not going to
That's
have you
true.
come back in and buy tires tomorrow because then it looks like I was trying to dodge the $25,000 max.
You could defend that
I
unless you
could.
charged them $5,000 for a set of tires. Maybe not.
I
Anyway,
wish I could. So, what that leads us into, Luke, is we wanted to go over some of the questions that we get to our email. And you guys can, if you have questions, obviously the Facebook forums are a great place to get answers from all dealers. But if you have something more specific, or maybe even something more private that you want like a real detailed education on, we love to talk. We love to respond to emails. We'll give you a call. So obviously info@theindependentdealer.com. But a couple that we've got over the last few weeks, I wanted to go over because I feel like they're timely and we don't do this very often. We don't, and of course, we're going to remove all the names and delicate information. But one of them that we got not too long ago that leads us through this recon conversation is this dealer was specifically concerned that his mechanics were padding the Recon tickets, and his Recon was out of control, right? Out of control. And you dug into this a little bit deeper, so maybe give us some context on what was going on and what you did to help resolve this.
Yeah, that's one of those things we can all worry about, and there's all kind of metrics to use to see this, right? Your Recon, if it is drastically over $1,500, you've got a problem. That problem could be you're buying the wrong car. The problem could be the Recon, the people who you're using to Recon. That could be an outside company, or your shop is spending way too much money on the Recon. You can look at that, and that's an easy metric to look at. And also, how long is it taking me to get my car to the line? So you got that metric as well. Then also, what is my warranty expense? What's that ratio? And if it's over 40 to 50%, you got all kind of problems, right? Either you're not reconning enough or you're buying the wrong inventory. So what I would recommend, if you're using it, we'll look at this two ways. If you're using an outside company and you've been using them forever and you really love them, but the Recon feels expensive, well, shop it. Take the same car. Well, for one, give them a true inspection list that's your own. These are the things I want you to look at. And then when they check it, you need to audit each RO and go, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. Don't say, just fix it. Because if you do that, they're going to treat you like somebody off the street. And their technician is going to go, it needs brakes, it needs tires, it needs rotation alignment, it needs both more control arms, it needs all four shocks and struts. And they're gonna crush you, because that's what a retail shop is supposed to do. I own one, I run one. If a shock is got any sort of moisture on it, we're gonna call that it needs a shock. So that's just the way it is. So take that car after that shop inspects it and drive it right down the street and get them to do the same inspection, and then compare and contrast. That way you can get a happy medium. And you could also see if you need to find another Recon facility, or you need to have a conversation with the people that's been doing it for you for 10 years. Outside shop's pretty easy.
Yeah. So your first advice, if you're suspicious, because when you say average Recon, the first thing that sticks out to me is it's all relative. And that's the issue we run into. Obviously, it depends on the price point of car you're buying. For some people, $1,500 would blow their freaking mind. If they're buying near off lease new stuff, all they're doing is a set of floor mats, right?
Yeah.
So it's very relative. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum of folks that are buying at Copart, and it's like, okay, if you're buying a Copart, like, yeah, you're gonna be spending more than $1,500.
I'm talking about without body work and things like that, and a typical independent dealer.
Yeah, but if you're also trying to find bargains, because you have guys that have capacity and you're out buying builders. Like, we interviewed some dealers in the past that they go out and try to find the 2 CRs or the 1.5 CRs that they can build value in. So when we say that, obviously look at it and say, okay, well, within reason of what I think I should be doing. And one good metric I like to do, and I pull this through my DMS, is I look at my total cost into car. So after my purchase, after my Recon, and I compare that to retail, like JD Power, clean retail.
Yeah.
So I'll pull that report of all the cars I sold in the last 6 months, and I'll say, okay, what's my percentage of cost into car compared to retail? And I'll look at from my different inventory sources, Manheim, off the street, trade-in, repo, just to kind of see, okay, when all is said and done on this car, which source is getting me the best bang for buck or the best cost to retail potential.
It will always be your trade-ins and the ones you buy off the street, FYI. You just can't source enough of them.
Yeah, it is actually probably street purchases. I just don't have a large sample size for that.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's the problem. But even repos are okay for me, because I bring my repos in at MMR knowing exactly what they need, right? ACV. So even though they cost me more per ticket, I'm into them better compared to retail most of the time.
Most of the time. And people have this theory that, if I can just have my own shop and control the process, that they're never going to get screwed. But you're going to, at some point, you're going to hire a technician or a manager that's very service focused, and something's going to get out of whack
Mm.
because probably because you didn't train them right, didn't train them for what you really need. Um, so if you're selling, let's say if you're selling 50 cars a month, you should have somebody, maybe it's 40 cars a month, maybe it's 30 cars a month. I don't know the exact number, but it's somewhere in there, 30 to 50. If you're selling that many cars a month, you need one person that is dedicated to getting your cars ready. That is their job. They jump, they sit on top of the funnel and they jump up and down to get them out the bottom.
Mm.
And that'll save you time to line. But also part of their job is to dictate what is repaired and what is not repaired. And so
Quality control.
quality control. And their pay plan has to be built around that, around how many cars you need in a month, how fast they get there, and how much is spent. We can control all of that. We need to make sure that we remember we're selling used cars, not new cars. And they need to be recons properly to what you are selling and what your customers expect. We've gotten
Well, they
into
expect a
this.
new car.
Well, that's what I was about to comment on. We've gotten into this rut where uh, our customers, and I'm talking about everybody's customers, believe they are buying new cars. And this, I think this happened during COVID because the price of the used cars went up dramatically. And when that happened, what people used to pay 6,000 for is now 10,000. 10,000 is a lot of money, right? And so they have this mindset that they're buying a new car. So how we can work around that, Jeff, is we have to train our salespeople on expectations of the consumer and WEO. What happens a lot of times in dealerships, WEO forms get used by salespeople to sell the product, to sell the car. Because the customer go, well, I want that rear bumper painted. And instead of the salesperson going, well, you know what? This is a used car, and that rear bumper, the car is priced the way it is because of that rear bumper. So it's going to stay just like it is. Mm-hmm. Now, what we can do, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, we have a body shop right down the road. They'll charge you $350 to repair that bumper. Would you like that to add it to the price of the car, or would you like to go get it done yourself? And I can tell you what that customer will tell you.
No, that's good.
We'll just go get it done ourselves, and it's never done. And so we do have to train our salespeople how to handle things properly, because if not, the WEO will be used to sell cars, and then the service department, if they don't get the WEO form, customer shows up and they're irate, then you're in trouble, right? So you got to make sure that all that lines up and have a good process of using the WEO and the promises and policy type stuff, so that you don't get in trouble. But salespeople have to be trained.
And we do that with our sales team. They have the WEO statement. It's a max of $200 that can be put on the WEO, and it's a 30-day fulfillment. And we actually try to require that the salesperson is the one that coordinates any WEO items, because they made the promise, they need to help fulfill it. If it's, hey, I had to throw in a set of floor mats, or hey, I had to throw in, a stereo fix, like, all right, that's cool. If that's what you had to do to get the sale done, we allow it up to $200, but now you have to be the one to coordinate that, because they have to have some ownership of that. They can't just throw it all on there and then just dump it on my service manager.
I got a question for you, Jeff. What is your average WEO?
My average WEO, I don't know what my average WEO is, but I know what my average goodwill is, which has got a combination of the two things in it.
Well,
does that count?
What I was going to say is this: if you allow up to $200 in WEO, you're probably going to get $200 every WEO. That's where I was going with that.
Well, I mean, again, but when you have the salesman has to fulfill it, he's not motivated to put it on there because he's not just passing it off to somebody else just to get the sale done. So
maybe I
get it.
And so what I would say is I would tie, if you're going to do something like that, tie the total amount of WEO back to the salesman's commission for each month. If you do that, I think you would see that number get into the spot where it needs to be, instead of they just know they have $200 they can use anytime they want to. Anyway, it's just an idea of ways to to make sure it doesn't get out of control at $200. Because typically, if you give somebody a limit of something, they go right up to that limit every time.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing, just to give a plug to Buckeye right now, being able to track those types of things, and you've got those three buckets where you can move that stuff around, right? You've got recon, you've got WEO, and you've got warranty repair work. And so you got to be careful not to just play with those numbers to make the other one look good, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could push everything into goodwill and all of a sudden my warranty claims look amazing. Or I could push everything into my warranty claims just to keep my goodwill and my recon low.
I
So
may know a few dealers that have pushed everything into goodwill instead of warranty, just so their taxes are better too. I may have known somebody that's done
yeah, and you got to keep, and that's what Buckeye can help you do is make sure your ratios are correct
Yeah.
so that your warranty company is a real warranty company. Because guess what? You do have to have claims. It's great to not have claims on your warranty company, but that's not how the real world works.
And
So
it's just so great to be able to control your own warranties. It makes your customers happy. It makes your bottom line better, and it saves you some taxes. So it's very
yeah.
good.
Yeah, call the guys at Buckeye, get set up if you're not already. It does surprise me sometimes when people say, "Hey, what service contract company are you using for
Oh
your buy here
man,
pay here cars?" And I'm like,
that's
"What are you
wild,
talking
right?
about? Where have you been?"
Where have you been? This is so
And so
wild.
50 people will jump in. Oh, call Buckeye. Oh, call Dealery. Oh, call this guy. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's so funny.
yeah. Sometimes you got to look before you post. So we talked a little bit about that, touched on the pay plans. So we continually debate the pay plans for both buy here, pay here, and retail customers because things are changing on the sales side. It's not typical sales like it used to be. Our salesmen are evolving to be a little bit of a different breed. And so I think our pay plans have to evolve to motivate what motivates, some of these younger salespeople we might be bringing in that aren't just straight commission based. They're not just motivated off a dollar or they don't want to work on straight commission. They want some security. What are you seeing and what advice would you give folks that are trying to reinvent their pay plans for their salesmen?
Man, I've seen salary, just straight salary, which I don't mind, because a lot of times in buy here, pay here world, your salesmen are really no more than order takers.
Mm,
So even especially if you're using the product like Secure Close or something like that, and you're using Neo and you have BDC people doing everything. Really, what they're doing is the customer's showing up and they're signing paperwork. So in a situation like that, and they're not even signing paperwork, they're doing it on Secure Close. In a situation like that, salaries aren't bad, right? Um, but is there something better? I think so. I think there's a combination of salary and number of cars sold based on a 90-day average. I like that idea. And then
mm.
different tiers as you move up and selling more deals. Um, and then working something for referrals maybe and definitely reviews. They got to be in there. And then if you've got that salesperson selling aftermarket, tie something in with that. So I don't like straight commission. And I tell you what I hate. This drives me crazy. And it's prevalent in the buy here, pay here world is the garbage of paying a percentage on the down payment as a
Oh,
commission.
really?
I
Interesting. Why is that?
hate, hate, hate it because it loses sales. And
Okay. How so?
because salespeople get so enamored with getting these high down payments.
Mm,
And they'll lose a deal on a customer that is fantastic that has $1,000 down, but they'll take the deal where the customer sucks that has $3,000 down.
mm.
So you're missing deals. Get away from it. I know this has been the 20 group thing forever, but I go into so many dealers' lots and they say, "Oh, we pay this," and I'm just like, "Oh God, stop," because I just think
Yeah.
it's old, it's antiquated. They get paid too much and they lose deals. And I'll say, "Oh, how many cars they sell a month?" Well, 10, 12. Well, yeah, they're missing another 10 or 12 because of your payment.
Yeah. It's interesting that it doesn't seem like if you are going to pay for down payment, it's not your salesman's decision on how much down that
It's
customer should have.
it,
It's your sales manager or your underwriter that should
There
be
you
paid
go.
on that, right? Because they're the one coming back and bumping them and saying, hey, hey, salesman, we can't, these guys look good, but try to get another 500, try to get another 1,000,
Well,
you know?
yeah. I mean, you could do that on your underwriters. I'd rather pay my underwriters on performance of the loans, um, than on the down payment but you definitely shouldn't pay your salespeople on the down payment. It's old. It's an old idea. I just think it's costly.
Yeah. What do you think about overcomplicating pay plans? Because,
Oh, it's
we've
terrible.
had this argument before in the past where you're like, oh, everyone should just be motivated, and I just want to put them all on a salary or an hourly and forget this complicated bonus, this bonus, that.
It's
Um,
complications create demotivating factors for uh, for your staff. Um, because it's demotivating for them because they don't know what they're making, really and truly. And it's timely and it's time consuming for the person figuring out their pay plan.
yeah.
Um, so that puts aggravation on the back end staff. Um, and what usually happens when you complicate things like that and put all these bonuses in is that if two things, if they hit the bonuses for 8 months and then miss it a month, they're not going to work next month. They're
Mm,
just not going to do it because they're going to be mad at you because you already built it into their salary, and all of a sudden their salary is $1,000 less than it was. There's where the demotivation comes in, and the problem is this: is we change them a lot. Just if you
mm.
have these bonus structures, you end up changing them a lot, and that's demotivating because you started out as having a really good person that was making $10,000 a month, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, I jiggered the the payroll wrong, so I'm gonna rejigger it. And when you do, what happens is it goes down to $8,000 a month, and then they're mad and they leave. So I think if you have just a basic, simple to understand, motivating salary with a commission structure that you don't change, it's highly motivating.
Yeah, I do like having components of motivation, whether you want to put it on a per sale, a volume for the total store that gets bonused, uh, you know, paying a little spiff for aged units, paying a little spiff for getting a Google review, paying a little bit when you get them set up on auto pay, you know. I think there's some complication and there's probably a fine line between finding that, but unfortunately, money motivates. And if you're not getting Google reviews at the time of sale, I guarantee if you put a
You're not
five or
going to get
ten
it.
dollar bounty on those Google reviews,
Yeah.
you'll get them.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen that. If you
Yep.
want people to sign up and get signed up on auto pay at the time they're sitting at the desk, the salesman will get that form signed if there's a $5 bounty on that form.
And if you want to
So
do that, I would say tier it is all I would say. I wouldn't pay per, right? I would say if you get 10 this month, we're going to pay you $100. If you get 11 to 15, we're going to pay you $120. If you get 15 to 20, we're going to pay you $200. Or whatever that is. I would just tier it. That way you're motivating him to get to the next level instead of, being worried about the one. That's just what I would do.
interesting.
I like
Um,
tiers.
yeah, and then that of course plays into our Blitz Pay ad of making sure you're getting people signed up on auto pay. It's crucial for us. It's part of the sales process. Mr. Customer, we take your monthly or biweekly payment through debit or credit card. Let's go ahead and get this filled out and get you set up initially, and then you'll have your portal where you can log in and adjust your credit cards and change out whatever you need to do with 15 different cards that you're using, but you can split it up however you want. So it's really, really helpful at the time of sale to get them established. But then once they get their Blitz Pay portal, it's very easy for the customer to self-help, change
Yeah,
around debit, credit cards, get themselves going.
super easy, and we can't say enough good things about Blitz Pay. Our money comes in. That's most important, and our customers find it easy to use. And I'll tell you, our collectors like using Blitz Pay way more than IDMS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is easy. Let's close out with this, Luke, real quick. It's slow. That's a lot of the emails that we get are how can I get more foot traffic? It plays back into last week's episode or the week before when we talk about marketing and advertising and your dollars. Just real quick, put a pin in that because last episode we covered it in depth. But what can dealers do to get foot traffic and get more eyeballs during these slow times?
Man, it's tough. I mean, that's the hardest thing. When it's slow, it kind of, you get this attitude. I think you have to change your attitude. You have to use social media. You've got to brand yourself. You've got to have the right inventory. You got to get your salespeople motivated by posting and these type of things. The answer is this: what can I do? You got to do a little bit of everything, but you got to have a plan, a marketing plan. If you don't have a marketing plan, you're just throwing money haphazardly in different directions, and it just doesn't work. Got to concentrate.
Yeah, I would say, like you said, Luke, you got to try everything. And I think that's what happens is dealers sit back and they get like analysis paralysis and they don't do anything. Well, what works? I don't know. I tried a little bit of Facebook. I tried Craigslist. I tried Auto Trader. I'm like, you tried them all for like a week.
That's right.
That's right. That's not going to work. Like Facebook, just number one, post to marketplace and run ads. So post on your page, run paid ads, and post to marketplace and potentially boost those if you'd like. That alone will turn things around. And to add to that, it's okay to lose money on a car. And I think a lot of dealers are very scared to lose money selling a vehicle. Like if you need to lose money on that car because it's been sitting too long and you're out of market price wise, or you just need to get the ball rolling. Like just get the ball rolling. Because I guarantee you, once your salesman sells a car, he will sell another one. But if he's got to drive for 3 or 4 days, he will go drive for another 3 or 4 days. And then he'll quit the day after that.
Attitude's a big deal. And you're right. Sometimes just sending a car out the door, that's a loser, will change the entire floor's attitude. And next thing you know, you've sold 10 cars.
Take 2 or 3 of your most aged units and just put a ridiculous price on them, lose $1,000 or 2 or 3, be okay with it because you're taking bad money, you're getting it out the door, and you're going to replace that inventory with something more attractive. So just make those things happen. And then the ball starts rolling, that motion creates emotion. I always tell my guys, it's very similar to like when you were in college and you were trying to get that girl that every other guy wanted. That's attractive. That attracts more people when you are desired, right? So when you become the pretty girl at the ball, like more people come in. The attitude of like, hey, Mr. Customer, buy it or don't. I don't care because I got someone coming in at 4 o'clock that will buy it. But when you have the aura of desperation, and I tell my salesmen this all the time, don't be desperate. Ask for the sale, but don't beg for the sale. You've got to have an attitude of like, dude, man, I might be able to fit you in at 2 o'clock today. I don't know, but come on by. I'm going to try to give you my full attention.
Set appointments on the 15s. I've said this so many times. It creates a different atmosphere. You say, oh yeah, just come in anytime this afternoon. No,
yeah.
I need you here at 3.
I'll just be staring at the paint, watching it dry.
I need you here at 3:15 because if you come at 3:45, I've got another customer that's going to be here, and I got somebody at 2:15 too. So make sure you're here at 3:15.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope everyone has a great week and a great end to August. We've got some exciting things coming out for the podcast in September. Reinventing, rebooting, relaunching.
And if anybody,
you guys some more exciting content.
Yeah, if there's any dealers vendors out there that listen, we are rebranding and possibly putting in some more advertisers. So please contact us if you're interested, and we can get you in touch with the right folks. And always subscribe, Jeff, right? Subscribe to the YouTube channel and like us and all that, comment.
Yeah. And the newsletter.
Please subscribe.
That. Still rolling. All right, buddy. Talk to you next week.
See you.
Thank you for listening. Please leave us a review. We'll catch you in the next episode.